My name is Joyce, and today I am going to talk to you about why you should visit the opera. I wanted to tell you as a 23-year-old why I love going to the opera, why I think it's super important that you actually go at least more than once, and what can it give you apart from entertainment. So this is all based on my opinion and the help of some friends who actually were nice enough to answer some of my questions. I want to be an opera singer, so you might think your opinion is biased. You actually want to work in this environment, but my opinion is not biased because I was raised in the Dominican Republic where there is no opera culture, unfortunately. We can fix that though. I actually grew up liking music like Backstreet Boys. I was a huge Backstreet Boys fan. Actually, correction. I am a huge Backstreet Boys fan. Queen, which I still adore. Kiss, Britney Spears. I really didn't know very well of the existence of opera. All I knew about it was a fat lady singing her lungs out, breaking wine glasses with horns on her head, which is what everybody knows. So here we go. What is opera? Opera is one of the most complete art forms. It has singing in a lyric way, in the maximum potential of the human voice. It does not require any external amplification because basically you use your body and it goes everywhere. It's amazing. It's amazing. Side note, because we use our bodies, the vibrations when you're actually listening to it live can make you feel things you've never felt before. And I know it sounds kinky. Then there is high-level acting. It's demanded more nowadays due to TV and movies and being able to see acting in such a close-up. People have started to demand from opera singers to actually be really good actors. Apart from that, some operas also include dance, ballet, classical dancing, which are also people who work super hard and I admire and don't know how they do it. Then there is the high quality orchestra of sometimes more than 100 musicians in an orchestra playing all for you to enjoy and absorb and hear live. These people have also trained most of their life for hours and hours and hours and hours to play that piece for you. And usually, depending on where you go, it's really good. It's really good. Depending also on the maestro, the conductor. And apart from all that, if that wasn't enough for you, you have all the scenery, all the detail work they put in creating the stage where the actors are actually in the environment. Nowadays there are a lot of modern productions which is a hit and miss sometimes, but if you go to a traditional production, you will get to be teletransported to another era. You actually get to go somewhere else, get out of this time age, and for a few hours completely leave this reality. Which is what brings me to why opera gives something to you. The reason for which I think opera gives me something is in my younger years, I was always interested in music. I knew I wanted to be a singer. I knew my life was gonna be revolving using my voice in music. But before I had known opera, I could connect to music in a very deep level, but never get transported somewhere else. And opera does that. getting into the story that the libretto has and getting into the music that the composer composed. If you allow it, if you open your mind to it, if you explore the idea of not trying to make complete sense of everything, just letting it take you for a ride, you end up in places that never in your daily routine-filled life you would normally go. So for me, opera lifts my spirit to a higher place. That's why I'm kinda addicted to it. It gives you a high. And it's so unfortunate that people think that it's boring. I was one of them though, I have to admit, and sometimes it can actually be boring. I've been to operas that I've admittedly fallen asleep. What I can consider boring for you might be the most interesting thing. So in reality, it's just finding what you like. But anyway, the point is, you can get something magical made by humans and pay very little for it. Which brings me to this. Let's talk about the prices, shall we? So people's first excuse, mostly, is, "Oh, but it's so expensive. I can't afford going to the opera." And I ask them, "Do you know how much the opera costs?" Usually the answer is no. And I always feel myself like, why do people assume things? Never assume things, people. You can find tickets for 15 euros sitting. Sure, it won't be the best view, but it all depends on the theater. And for example, I live in Vienna, which is amazing just saying that. And when I go to the Staatsoper or Volksoper or Musikverein, they all have this thing called Stehplatz, which means standing tickets. And a lot of other theaters around the world do have this, or have discounts for students, or have discounts for seniors. Standing tickets basically means that you stand throughout the whole performance, even though I sit on the floor, honestly. And you pay as cheap as 3 euros. So basically, since I've been here, I've seen wonderful pieces of art for 3 euros, people. It's all about informing yourself. Never stay in what people have said to you or what stereotype is around something. It's always good to break stereotypes. And it's a very good place to take a date. Or even to go with friends. It's like you're gonna go into something new together. But of course, it's always good that everybody's in the same mind state of being open to something new. Because if you go open to experiencing something that you've never experienced before, and the other person is like, "You're dragging me here. It's 4 hours long. Oh my god, we're definitely going at the pause." You don't know how many people I've heard that say that, and I'm like, you don't even know what you're going into. Like, wait a minute. Wait. Just wait. So yeah, make sure that the person you come with is actually willing to come and enjoy this with you. Now let's talk about what type of stories do opera have. Is it all about rich aristocrats just with their pointy noses and big gowns and... I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Opera is mainly about sex. Well, it's not mainly about it, but it does have a lot of it. Mozart, he can surprise you. Go check out some of his stuff. Another thing you can learn from the stories in opera is history. I find fascinating what the civilizations of the past used to have as a costume, what was normal for them? How did they fall in love? Well, of course, in opera, falling in love is always like, at first sight, you're the love of my life. Please don't leave me. That was very bad acting. Please hire me someday. It's about what sort of parties did they throw, what sort of dresses they wore, how did they communicate? There were no phones. Did they have a pigeon? How did all of this happen? You could learn about empires. You could learn so much and not even realize that you're learning this much. It's fantastic. Let's talk about, but there's no opera near me. Oh, baby girl, I've been there. Or baby boy. Sorry that I called you a baby. There is this wonderful thing that the Metropolitan Opera of New York does. Live streams. You can see this in your cinema. You could actually just wear whatever you want, buy popcorn, sit down in the cinema with your comfortable chair and watch opera live directly from the opera house. You can even see them up close, which is a great way to experience opera, but always keeping in mind that live is for sure the best way if you want that effect of there is no excuse nowadays to not experience it. Once you actually experience this other side that actually takes time to digest, to make you grow, to make you feel like you're in this world and not in like this spider web that the internet is, you will realize what I'm talking about. So that's why you have to go and tell me in the comments below what you thought. If you like this video, like it. If you don't like this video, I don't know, do something with your life then. Why did you watch the whole thing? I mean, thank you for watching the whole thing, but subscribe if you want that. I'm planning on doing a lot of other videos, not only opera related, I promise. I hope you enjoyed my company for this very long video. Please comment. I want to have a conversation with you all, and it's been good. That was so creepy.